So it's like they take out the Renekton and the Kassadin instead of the Rumble. Even the Rumble up, they feel it could be dodged or first picked if it happens.
The Rumble didn't necessarily destroy them in the last game. These bans are very similar to the prior game. This time, compLexity bans out Elise instead of first picking it. Of course, they did ban out the Lulu and Zac because they're still blocking out, obviously, Zamfira's Lulu and the Zac that iDream played in both games in order to qualify for this final. And then the bans are pretty standard from Cognitive as well. The only difference that they had, as far as I can tell, was none, because they banned all the same things.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with anything that compLexity has to grab that they didn't the last game. They felt, like you said, it wasn't too much of a factor. The game, like Freak and I were mentioning, within 2,000 gold for the majority of the time until the Barons were hit, the inhibitor turrets, and then pretty much the game to follow. We're seeing what compLexity puts up onto the board for their jungle. Now support locked in is Thrash for MIA. Mortis, he has a big champion pool for the jungle. We know a lot of his success came on Cho'Gath as well at the MLG in the spring split. That's the game that they were able to come out on top of Dignitas and surprise everybody, I believe, with one of their biggest wins of the season on that. So there's still a lot that they have to choose. Their champion pools definitely leave a good amount for Cog to think about.
The real question is, though, why is Mortis wearing a gator on his head if he's not going to be playing Renekton?
Gator
that
Mortis.
Should be Mega Zero who wears that, because he is the Renekton player.
I don't know.
Yeah, oh well. You never know some of these things.
It'd be like Dragonborns, they all had hats on.
Yeah, and look where they are now.
Don't wear hats.
Don't wear hats.
Blocks the hair phones. Ziploc locking in Xin Zhao for the team and for himself, most likely. An aggressive jungler coming from in this game in that early portion. We have seen some Swains.
It's actually a really strong Swain.
Yeah.
Zamfira is a good Swain player. If they did go for Xin, it would be the same thing they picked both games when they swept NWE to make it into this game. I think the Shen is the much more likely pick, though, just because they did have some fairly strong success with it last game, and it was able to at least give them a lot of versatility within the match.
Also throwing out that mid, they're going to see what now compLexity has to choose. Does probably leave it for MIA since his pick is already out, and they go for the real roundabout. We'll have to see what you can counter your last pick with, or does he go here and feel confident about it? The Gragas is up. Pretty much everything is up that he could play.
Yeah, I'm thinking that here they're going to pick an AD carry and a mid, because, or sorry, AD carry and a top, because Prawley, with his versatility, will want to counterpick that mid lane matchup, whereas Mega Zero already generally knows what he's going to be laning against. It'll either be a Caitlyn 2v1 or a Shen. So he is very comfortable just picking Rumble again, since that's exactly what he knows.
Matchup that they had, we may see the swapping once again. You see iDream getting his Shen once again, so the split pushing will be there. We saw a bit of focus being put on Mega Zero because obviously he is one to be reckoned with if he is left alone, and even if he is beaten down a champion or a player that can usually come back. So to give him that again, Cog really feels like what they had going just had a few mistakes in it.
And I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Blitzcrank out of these guys and maybe an Orianna, because Valkyrin had a lot of success with Blitz in the prior games, and Orianna would at least pick away a champion that probably had last game, or they could just default back on the Karthus. Zamfira, even though he has a very diverse champion pool, has generally played Karthus and Orianna.
Gotta keep it safe. A lot of people say that playing a certain champion is better for the team, is better for the thought of the team. You hear Messiah when he plays Twisted Fate, the team feels better about it. He feels better about every situation. So having that comfort level in front of a gigantic crowd in a new setting, in a new environment is a must.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, Karthus is just the thing that the mid laners play to support the team. They're just saying, all right, I'll just do a bunch of damage and die every fight. It's okay, guys. It's on me. And the support Fiddlesticks has not been very good this weekend. We've seen a lot of Patoy playing it, as Dignitas generally struggled with the support Fiddlesticks for the most part. Still going for it this time, just going for that Caitlyn Fiddlesticks lane that is very potent in the laning phase itself. Very hard to get a hold of.
When we usually see Dig playing that, it's the flash fear from Patoy.
It's dangerous.
Crumbs on the backside. It is. It's not something you expect. Fiddle just walking around lane, not out of a bush, just flashes into your face. Done a lot of it from Patoy. We'll see what Valkyrin tries to do with that lane up of Caitlyn. Now it does get left to Prowley for the counter pick.
What is he going to want against Karthus in this one? Is this real? Is this happening?
Is this real life?
So he actually picked Ezreal against Karthus. And this is Chuper who's going to be playing Vayne.
Oh.
Yeah. The mind games right there. It's like they'll pick an AD carry and a top. Yeah, they will. But it's actually a mid in disguise.
I like it. ManCloud actually did this weekend. Has been known to be quite good. We've seen many Ezreal's middle throughout the NALCS summer split, so we'll have to see what they can do with this. This makes this more of an AD heavy team. Rumble's going to be that big AP factor for them, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, exactly. And the big struggle that a lot of double AD compositions run into is they don't have any realistic protection or like kind of midline things to block away from just getting charged at as AD carries. This one has a better chance at working though, only because Lauda Mortis can get very farmed, and that's a bit of lockdown with the Thresh. That's a couple circles they can throw down that prevent the enemy at running at you. And then when you look at Cognitive's team comp as well, Xin Zhao and Shen, even though they are prolific divers, can't get both of them. So it's actually something that could be avoided by complexity. And this is a double AD composition that actually feels like a good time for it.
So going back to last game, we saw a lot of lane swapping and lane switching. Are there any champions that really get hurt by that factor? Maybe not seeing them here, but seeing those lane swaps. It's not something that we've seen a lot of teams do back and forth just to get a dragon.
Exactly.
Are there champions that excel at that? Obviously ones that can have speed steroids, but others.
Well, right now, the Caitlyn versus Vayne matchup in this game is going to be one that Chuper's most likely going to want to swap out of frequently. And Cognitive doesn't like going to the lane swap game, so I'm expecting complexity to be bouncing around back and forth, just trying to avoid the Caitlyn for as long as possible.
So I guess the situation isn't really what champions you have, it's how you interpret the move and when you do it. It's making that first step. We'll see who makes that first step here as we go into the second of a possible best-of-3 series. Here in the Challenger Series Finals, complexity game 1 win over COG, and they're looking for the second one. COG looking to stay alive here in this match.
And they need to stay alive in this one because they've made it all the way to the finals. And some would argue, looking at back to the way they qualified here, they had to make it through a ranked 5s tournament. Then they had the matchup against, many people would say the complexity was in the strongest setup as far as the brackets go. They had to play to be determined first. Some would say Cognitive had an easy road to this point, but they're here to prove that they're a team that deserves to be here.
All the safe checking. Bodies as wards right now, and looks like they're just going to move in all together on this one, get that deep ward in, and get themselves out. Mega Zero's going to have to be a bit careful here unless they choose, if you get the word right, to actually pinch them.
They could think about it right now because they went all the way in, but it is a dangerous proposition to try and go. The Fiddlesticks was separated from the rest of the team, but that doesn't mean much. MIA went in, got 3 wards for himself. He decided to put the 3rd one down at the end just for fun. And both of these teams now are already ready to play the lane swap game. They've gotten lane wards essentially down to know where Caitlyn and Fiddle are going to be, as well as Cognitive having wards down to see where Mega Zero is going to be. This will tell them where the AD carry support lane is going.
Is he going to loop around? I'm watching Mega Zero right now. He does not go towards his lane, and they are going to start to swap this out. So COG will get the knowledge of this, but they'll be back on the swap that they wanted.
Yeah, and right now, complexity will get the lanes they want, but they're a little late to lane with it. Whether or not there is a Cognitive team that wants to stay in this setup just because they had the early edge, we'll have to wait and see.
Xin Zhao making his way back over. He take that entire... What? Maybe he didn't have enough time, have enough health. The red buff, Small Lizard, actually was not taken, so it's not going to respawn, and at the time it should. Ziploc now grabbing his blue.
That's an oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Right there.
Tad.
By Captain Ziploc.
But what's the oopsie daisy? When's the fix? If you're already past Wraiths or something, should you still go back for it, or do you want to keep pace in the jungle or try to?
At this point, you just have to take it when it's convenient. He's probably realized once he's a blue buff, he's like, oh crap, I left that thing up. So he's going to be maybe looping back through the jungle and doing a full clear that way, in which case probably after Wraiths or slightly before, he's just going to be taking that extra red buff Lizard. That's going to mess him up timer-wise.
It's kind of like you just drop your stick and you got to keep skating until you can get it back.
Yeah.
3 minutes into this one, we'll see if Ziploc, not too big of a hindrance, but see if that lane gank comes a little bit earlier from Lauda Mortis. He is known as a farmer jungle, so maybe it won't hurt too bad. Now onto this bottom turret, COG Nothing here in Valkyrie trying to get some early damage down onto this one with that Caitlyn poke.
Yeah, this is what I kind of expected since there was late lane approach by Chuper into the top lane, that we wouldn't see a swap back immediately, mainly because Cognitive has had bad experiences trying to match complexity lane swap for lane swap, so they're actually just giving them the Vayne farm lane that they wanted.
Let's see if what he can soak up. That 80 carry is 23 to 21, so the 2v1s are working out in favor, or not in favor, but equally for both teams, I should say. The gold lead only factoring into a bit of CS here, maybe into some jungle camps, you might say. With a 1 win for complexity also means momentum, means they feel good about it. And we have to, you know, point out that last game they did start to falter. They did start to go to those traits that they've been trying to kick.
Yeah, and they need to make sure to stay out of this one. It's easy to fall in, especially when everyone on their team is on a pretty high damage champion. They got Vayne, who's very easy to go all in. Ezreal can very easily arcane shift in the wrong direction sometimes.
Nobody
and
does
Mega
that.
Zero, since Equalizer basically covers a quarter of the map, he can use it whenever he wants if he sees a kill. So it's a lot of temptation for Complexity's team, and they were definitely spotted going for this one.
Running right through.
Yeah, you can't sneak through that. There was
you
minions
didn't
right
see
there,
me?
Latimortis.
It's like maybe if I hide in your model when we pass the bushes, they won't notice. There's a giant flag sticking out of Rumble.
Yeah, Jarvan's a little large to be able to pull that one off. Maybe if Mega Zero was on a 6-feast choke out, but he gets a smite anyway.
He says that didn't work, but this does. Goes out, tries to be a nuisance, has his red buff on, so it looks like this is actually going to tick off without too much more effect coming from it. But he will soak up the experience here with Mega as they go a little hard. Level 4s to level 3s.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. Oh, first blood. They've been there the whole time. That is a complete mistake by Cog.
That is Latimortis making a play as well. Like, there's no way Valkyrie should have been there on Fiddlesticks. But the Jarvan fear just got to them.
Oh! Very
Chuper.
nice taunt back. Taunts, gets on the left side of him and taunted them in the opposite direction. Chuper could be hit up hard here. He only needs a few more. Get that hit. The key strike going to be coming up, and he does. Take down Chuper. But MIA picks up a kill for himself. But what is that? Top trading kill for the 80 carry, and MIA got that one. So not too good of a trade there.
Cognitive turned a bad situation into a good one right there because Chuper had an early edge, but then when he flashed in, Chuper couldn't immediately finish that one off, and he took enough minion damage that iDream was able to get a kill back. He's going to need that kill greatly because he's 10 minion kills right now to 26 of Mega Zero and is definitely losing out on this overall 1v2 lane.
Mega getting that comfort champion again. We saw the same for Zamfira. He's 45 to 43, but his mana is expended so fast with the auto attack, so probably keeping him at bay, and probably now hitting 6, using that True Shot Barrage to just push that wave in the face of Zamfira so he can get back and by.
And he's no fear of Captain Ziploc right now. And look at Mega Zero trying to come in with Latimortis once again. They know the flash is down.
Nothing here is like shoulder to shoulder with Mega, but they want Valkyrie. They know they can take him down faster with the escapes of nothing.
This is turning into a very dangerous lane for nothing here in Valkyrie because once Valkyrie got caught off once, even with the boots, support Fiddlesticks just has that one fear to kind of protect himself. And since he's using it on Latimortis as he's jumping in, he's still getting the knock-up. And it's allowing Mega Zero to kind of run him down. Now with Equalizer up, and especially in a 2v1 where they're constantly wanting to be pushed up, they have to avoid that situation. It's nothing here in Valkyrie almost want to go into a 2v2 lane once again because this 1v2 lane is just not working out. Latimortis has been ganking it so frequently and so successfully that it's really just getting Mega Zero fed.
It's going to happen again. They just pinged the pink ward they put in Tribrush. It's going to help this blue, and they're probably just going to head back down to that bottom lane. There's no reason they shouldn't. They know his flash is still down, and they probably won't even focus on nothing here again.
Yeah, so what could happen now for Cog is actually because they recognize they're vulnerable, is they'll have to stop pushing Mega Zero, or they risk die.
Oop, there's an ulti. True Shot Barrage just flying right by. So that did hit Valkyrie, and he took a bit of damage on that, but he's still far on the backside. He is thinking of the past 2 engagements.
Exactly, and that's how far back he is. You can tell Mega Zero now gets to just bully because even if Cognitive didn't know Jarvan was there or didn't guess Jarvan was there, Mega Zero could still do the same thing because they know if he is there and they push up too far, they're going to die.
I think whenever Mega now enters that bush, they scream gank to each other, and they just cannot go in.
There could be a Jarvan behind him.
Yeah, nothing.
Running in with them.
Maybe he's hiding underneath him. nothing here. And Valkyrin backing to try and get purchases, but it's going to be a BF sword. All right, so he chooses to not go for the boots. And this gives compLexity enough time to go for a minute later Dragon. It was 7 minutes in the previous game.
Good move. These 2v1 and 1v2 lanes have just done wonders for compLexity. There is nothing here unless a Q was somehow able to steal it. But Ludamortis has the smite. And that's good objective game there by compLexity because they channeled the kills they got in lane and then turned it into a larger advantage, which is what they want to do.
Very interesting play here coming from Prolly. Every time with the blue buff up right now and as many Qs as he can fire, his true shot barrages have gone to each opposite lane. One to the bottom and one to the top.
He's really just trying to harass with it to help out his other lane, which tells you he's not even thinking about stopping Zamfira's Karthus or slowing him down at all. He's farming in between the turrets, by the way, on Rumble.
He's trying to get back there. Not much iDream can really do to him with that scrap shield to get out of range quickly of him. So at 3-1 now. About a 3,000 gold lead in favor of compLexity. A good grand of that coming from the most recent Dragon kills. And it looks like not in CS, really, actually 62-26 in that. So there is a factor of CS there. Mega Zero to iDream.
This game is actually probably a bigger gold lead than we had at any point during the last 40-minute game. compLexity has just started this one off so strong, mainly based off Ludamortis' and Mega Zero synergy.
Looks like, oh no, I was going to say Ludamortis has not decided to go bottom anymore, but as he starts out of base, which is where I saw him, he's continuously going bottom. The 2 pink wards still sitting down there, I believe, just about the timeout, so they're trying to get the effect of those as Trooper backs. We'll see what he can buy. iDream's been trying to chill in that top lane. His first purchase was that chain vest, but it hasn't allowed him to get the CS he needs. Now that he's in the bottom lane.
Small chance for Cognitive to get back in here.
They do see Ziploc, but they don't care. Ziploc actually Audacious charges into the Cataclysm, so he gets stuck for a second. iDream going to go next door and help Ziploc out. They're going to be able to get out of this one, it looks like, unless there is a flash engage, and they are not going to choose to do so.
Re-engaged by compLexity.
They pop him right up. There's the taunt. That's going to be a little bit of damage reduction on the attacks for iDream, but he needs to get out as well. Ludamortis going to pick up this kill. The red buff is capitalizing. Both of them on the junglers have red buffs. Will they chase onto each other now?
Captain Ziploc gets the shut down on Mega Zero, which does give Cognitive a little bit of an edge from that 2v2 exchange. That was a 2v2 they could kind of fight because they knew they had a counter gang set up for Ludamortis, and they knew that the Requiem was going to come in and maybe turn the tides for them.
Mano a mano on the turret. The red buff's ticking, but so is that turret shot. Captain Ziploc taking a bit of damage there, and he's got to be careful. He's leaking.
Well, he is Captain Ziploc.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can patch that up.
He is very low. What is he going to buy even? He tries to get a little bit of armor for himself. Not sitting on too much gold, 37 farm. He does have a kill. He gets a Kindle Gem for a bit of cooldown HP right away.
Yeah, look at that. He's going for just the pure tank Xin right now. No real damage items. They like running the multiple tanks with the Karthus, and it didn't necessarily work out for them last game. This is Cognitive Gaming because, I mean, last game was obviously going so much better for them. Twitch was getting a lot of kills. Zamfir was able to pick up the kills, and this one just hasn't been the case. They didn't play compLexity's lane swapping game, which actually just allowed compLexity to win the lane swapping war straight off the bat without even playing. And that's been the story of this game so far for compLexity.
I guess if you leave those lanes matched up, you don't have to worry as much for the junglers. The 1v1s are going to get it more, and kind of like we said last game, and you've said, they're not giving Nothing here the chance to get those kills. Ludamortis has been in the bottom lane every time, avoiding giving him kills.
Yeah, he's been shutting him down for the most part. Especially Caitlyn versus Vayne, you'd expect the Caitlyn to have superior farm.
Absolutely.
Yet Chuper's Vayne, because he's been in that 1v2 against Shen, who can't threaten him, and because Xin Zhao's ganks have been, aside from the one counter gank, completely ineffectual.
Yep.
It's really benefited them. We haven't even talked about Prolly in the mid lane, who actually hasn't been doing much other than harassing side lanes with that True Shot Barrage.
Mega Zero coming in here. Where's Prolly going to go on this one? They throw on the ultimate and say, hey, we can get the turret. Whoa! Prolly getting hit up. The Audacious charge. Ziploc only under half HP. An engagement in the top lane as well. Once they see that Mega Zero has left his lane, the Stand United is not up for this engagement. The pole comes in. Nothing here with a good bit of damage. One more shot on MIA and he takes him down. He may be able to get out of this one. The Caliber Net puts him out of the range of the Flag and Drag.
And the rest of compLexity is very low for this one. Ludamortis standing tall, so they don't let him get that one down. another bit of a trait, and they're really picking all Valkyrin, but that's the objective things that compLexity is able to take down.
And that was a big win and advantage in that fight there. And the 1-for-1 of the supports, the turret and the global gold going over to compLexity. A 4,000 gold lead here, 13 minutes in. Some good kills on the board. They're spread across as well. They're going to Mega Zero as well as Mortis, who's been making plays with Mega. Them both in the bottom lane have picked up 2 kills in that situation.
Yeah, so the gold distribution isn't the best, actually, for compLexity as far as who has what kills. 2-0-2 on Mortis will still be beneficial for them in the long run, though. Normally you don't want all your kills on the jungler, but because they're running the double AD composition, they need Mortis to be excessively tanky so that he can actually be that solo front liner, and then set up the rest of compLexity's follow-up damage. It's actually very, very good that Mortis has those 2 kills. So my first assumption of them having the gold on the wrong people was actually wrong. It works out in this case.
So we have the pink wards going down a little bit towards Dragon. Mortis' focus is also towards the bottom half of the jungle with 14 seconds left on that. compLexity, if they can get this top turret as well, that would be huge.
Yeah, they've been able to push them back pretty substantially, and it's mainly because Valkyrin can't support Nothing Here. Nothing Here is almost having to play by himself on Caitlyn, and of all the AD carries to be on, Caitlyn is the one to be able to do that with, but it's still a difficult situation. He can't necessarily fend off that turret forever.
A nice pink ward in mid allows them to know that Samvira is coming right down to check that Dragon. I mean, Ziploc doesn't have to move too far, but Nothing Here in Valkyrin. They're going to have to make a move here with Shen. He was about to go back, but they may decide to keep it as is and fight the Dragon if they can with the Requiem.
This game is definitely slowed down a little bit. And it's on compLexity actually to make plays and actually go for a couple kills now. They're trying to fight against that for the most part, but there's another opportunity. Probably trying to come in and help.
Ooh,
they don't have the snares though.
Caliber Hat hitting the right person, kind of killing out that Vayne passive of the chase. iDream taking some good damage. No even trade there with the scrap shield on the turret. So compLexity is really trying to flex their muscles in every lane right now to get this Dragon in their hands.
Mega Zero might be in a bit of trouble here. The gank.
Throws down the equalizer. That was a beautiful equalizer. Ziploc had to continuously walk down before charging.
He's going to turn around.
He is going to turn this baby around. The Ignite is onto Ziploc. He actually keeps himself alive. Cog not going to be doing. Oh my God! They micro and manage the damage they are taking in and out perfectly.
Mega Zero put up a fight, but they barely kept themselves alive. Very well done there by Cognitive, taking on a monster that they had created with Mega Zero, who got the 2 kills in lane. They do lose a turret on the other side, though, because of the time they invested.
And those chances have to be taken right now by Cog. Down at golds, trying to close that gap. They picked one up onto Mega Zero, but this is not going to be what they needed to get the Dragon. It is going to help them to position for it. The compLexity is going to try to do it in this one man with the rotators.
Well, if you're just going to set up for a Dragon, they're just going to take the Dragon as well. Mortis has the pink ward down. He's very tanky himself. He could use a little bit of help. He's not killing it as fast as possible, but it's going to be the objective secure just because no one around for Cognitive to contest.
Karthus, press R.
Yeah.
Karthus, just press R. So Dragon, 2 out of 2 going to compLexity right now. We'll see that coming up again in 6 minutes. They will for sure have that on their mind with their style of play. Again, a true shot barrage to the top lane alerts them, but they don't think he is as close as he was. Probably's there right now. They thought they could have got the turret. It's only going to be a bit of poke.
Probably wants to take him on here.
Trooper was a bit too far behind. Oh no! Goes in, but I don't think Nothing Here was really in that engagement with him. Oh, that'll do.
That'll do it. If Trooper could have blocked that last ace in the hole, maybe probably would have been able to live through that one. Still great for them though, for Cognitive, because Zamfira has now 1 kill, 2 assists, and Nothing Here has got the kill, so at least they're getting a little bit back. Long road to go still, though, with the 4,000 gold disadvantage.
That's what we were talking about before. There was kind of a false sense of security given to compLexity there, as you saw. Nothing Here was like, no, that's probably a bad idea. Oh, Requiem, ace in the hole. Yeah, that's what exactly we wanted. So now that compLexity has seen that trick, it'll definitely be on their mind within the next engagement. But Cog is doing the right things to really get themselves back in here. Somehow compLexity with these Dragons just continues to make that gold lead get bigger.
Yeah, and I'm thinking compLexity is going to be going for turret number 3 fairly shortly. They've done a very good job pressuring the outer turrets. Prawley's actually been a roamer for the most part, but a roaming turret pusher. Every time he leaves, Mortis goes to a different lane and kind of helps out. whereas Zamfira's Karthus hasn't put that much pressure on the mid turret himself because he's actually scared of getting fought or dueled by Prawley's Ezreal.
And everything that Mega Zero could really be doing in this lane mechanic-wise is hurting iDream. He had a full minion wave there, attacked him when the minion wave dissipated, tries to get it. The turret is going to be doing some good damage here to Mega Zero. It's got only a few hits, but it is going to be allowed Immortus to turn it around. Good scrap shield by Mega to help that one out. MIA very low here. He gets the pull. Nothing here, forced to flash. Trooper may follow, but it's going to be a split engage now. Trooper has to be careful. He does get the kill onto Caitlyn. Looking for the kill onto Valkyrin as well, and it looks like he is going to
set the minion.
It's the minion, but he gets the kill there. He finds him. He just had to fix his glasses.
Yeah, he wasn't sure where he was going there. Ziploc is going to want to execute. I wonder, yeah, he's going to execute.
Yeah, execute. That was, so what happened there with Trooper was he was A-clicking to attack into the bush instead of clicking in the bush and then attacking. So he's hitting the closest minion.
The bush jukes are very difficult sometimes to deal with.
It happens.
Fighting the bottom lane though, Mega Zero got a little overzealous. Him and Immortus tried to, it's one of the old complexity moves.
Little charred rumble.
Yeah, definitely didn't want to go for the Karthus in that one. Overall, though, Trooper getting 3 kills on Vayne bodes very well for Complexity's future.
And he's already home guarded up as well on that Vayne, so he is going to be out and ferocious if he has to go back to base. 19, almost coming up on 20 minutes now. That gold lead is nearing 7,000, and that's not going to help them too much, especially at 20 minutes into the game. The bigger the gold lead is in the beginning, the bigger the factor of how much it's going to hurt your team.
It's all about the percentage gold lead.
Right.
And let's take a look at who actually has that gold, because there's 7,700 on Trooper right now. He's going to buy a lot of goodies when he goes back and shops. And the biggest thing for Complexity here is, even though they all have those huge gold leads, it's the turrets that they have up, so they can actually take advantage of these gold leads to give them bigger gold leads overall. Once the turrets are down, they can go into the jungle, they can continue to kill anyone from Cognitive if Cognitive comes out of their little shell, and Complexity can just kind of strangle them through.
A very much needed and first turret for Cognitive Gaming coming in, bolstering up a little bit of that gold deficit. They look to keep Shen in the top lane now to start that split push off. Like we said, he bought the chain vest early, so his Sunfire Cape was finished. Even though he's down 40 CS, he's still been trying to get that split push into effect for the team. 2 minutes on to Dragon. The buffs are being picked up as Cog sets themselves up for the next engage.
Ever since Mega Zero actually went back into the lane against iDream, even though iDream has been losing it, he's coming back a little bit. Being in the 1v1 for him, and then even for Nothing Here and Valkyrin being in a 2v2 against Trooper and MIA was so beneficial. If Cognitive would have played the lane swap game and had just tried to stick with Vayne and Thresh, I think it would have went so much better for them.
Well, it really hurt iDream in the beginning too, because he straight out bought that chain vest and then was matched up against Mega Zero. You've completely have the wrong resistances for the lane you're in. Oh! It still hit him, but it was a good flash.
It did still hit him. I mean, Valkyrin isn't worth much gold at this point. Prawley's got to get his objective straight right here. He can't chase after Valkyrin for those kills. What he needs to do is go for things like this turret.
Slowly creeping up on it. Few members. Karthus coming from the top side here. Zamfira with everything up except for the summoners. So he's going to have to play this one safe with the wall, keep his distance. They let the turret go down. That turret taken down by iDream was now negated, so that gold lead stays where it's at. Cog is really, as Complexity was last game, moving around in twos, and it's spreading them way too thin.
Yeah, they cannot keep pace with Complexity right now. Complexity is too mobile and has too much damage. That hook lands. There they go.
Oh my, he gives him a red carpet to walk home on. Zamfira goes down on this one. Ziploc also takes the red carpet home. Looks like they're going to try to continue this fight. Nothing Here gets himself in. He has that red buff. They may be able to continue slowing down and chasing into this fight. Looks like they're going to back it off. Mega Zero, good guy, taking the shot.
Yeah, Immortus just kind of came in to say hi at the end of that fight. They got the turret and a kill, gave up one. That's good for them, because even though they didn't overchase for those kills. They made sure after they got the kill that they could get the turret and then still pull away with enough health to take this next dragon. They're up huge in this game, Riv.
Really, at this point, they would have to make some really big mistakes to have this game sway the other way. The Mirror Mana already finished out at 23 minutes onto Prawley. And ManCloud was really the only one to finish early Mirror Manas in the NALCS.
Yeah, well, this is the challenger scene in NA right now. Complexity wants back in the NALCS. I'm surprised he actually hasn't finished his Iceborne Gauntlets yet. He went all the way for the Bilgewater. When they have the double AD, he really wants to get that Iceborne Gauntlets as quickly as possible so they have the extra utility that they initially lost by bringing the Ezreal. And so far, this game with the Ezreal, the reason this game has been working so well for compLexity is instead of really team fighting with the Ezreal, he's been using the extra range and turret pushing power to do just that.
Yep.
And then compLexity hasn't actually been punished for not having the same team fight tools as a standard team would.
And really, he's been pushing everybody's lane. As we said before, he was true shot barraging as much as possible, queuing as much as possible when he had blue buff in mid, and then firing that to the left and the right lanes to get the push for objectives like Dragon. He has now finished that Iceborne Gauntlet. The Rylai's is also now finished on Mega Zero, so that becomes a horrendous, actually really good, horrendous for COG is what I was going to say. But to get out of that is going to be such a fight.
Yeah, it will be a horrendous problem to get out of these ones, especially with the Leandries being finished on Mega Zero as well. It is actually too much damage for Cognitive Gaming to deal with right now, and they have to if they want to have a chance at winning this and getting the spot into the Challenger tournament or promotion tournament that we have coming up. But compLexity is in such control this time. After a very up and down first game, it's been all up for compLexity so far in game 2.
It looks like Karthus has been giving, not just Karthus, but Laudamortis a good reason to continue that Aegis into the Locket of the Iron Solari once again. Getting hit up here. They see that they're not getting too much damage on. A missed true shot barrage does scare them off the attack. Is it going to be enough for Ziploc? That's a pretty odd focus for the start. But they do know they're in the upper hand, so something like that doesn't really put them down.
Yeah, and it at least burns the one flash. I'd say it's a little bit, a little bit rough for compLexity not having Laudamortis' ultimate up, but they're just getting the split lane down right now. They have 6 turrets. They've taken everything but they've taken the whole outer shell down for Cognitive Gaming right now, and it's the inhibitor turrets next. I think they're just going to continue pressuring multiple turrets at once here. Chuper doing his own thing, everyone else kind of roaming around and helping out when needed. It shouldn't be too long for them to break down.
compLexity showing the want, showing the carry of the momentum from game 1. Now 6-1 in turrets, 8-10 in kills. Those 10 are for compLexity at 25 minutes into the game. Zamfira read that coming in. He started exiting towards the middle of the base. The turrets, though, they are falling quickly.
Yeah, and at this point, Cognitive would have to just initiate in, but it's a team fight they can't necessarily win. The turret falling fast, Equalizer cutting him down. compLexity might turn it around.
They're going to be on the backside of this one. Zamfira flashes in to that. Goes down, but he's got a good placement for himself before everybody tried to disperse there. No kills coming up from the Requiem, but he was able to get Prolly before he went down. And it looks like they are going to continue this fight. iDream taking some damage, and he does go down. The last shot coming from Chuper. And these guys are going to walk it out and just talk it out.
Yeah, he's got to fight the other jungler. It's a matter of principle at this point. And it is going to go back.
Oh, the minions! That's so unfair! The minions!
I wonder if Laudamortis let him get away.
What if he does get away?
Oh!
Hey, sneaky shoes! And he goes back. Wait a minute.
Come on!
He's going to get him this time. And he goes back. He is such a good dodger right now.
All right, he's giving it to him. He did enough juking.
The escape
Congratulations.
of all escapes in the Challenger Series Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed.
If that turns out that he runs back and steals this Baron,
Do it! I'd run over and give him a high five.
Yeah, that was definitely some noble jukes by Captain Ziploc right there. But compLexity got so many objectives out of that dive. I mean, Chuper actually made it through the fight at one point to just wreck everyone on Cognitive Gaming. They still secured the Baron. And honestly, Laudamortis is just the nicest guy in the world.
It's the Gator hat. Really. Like we said, even the coach doesn't even know why they're all so damn friendly.
Yeah.
It's the power of love, man. 48.2. It's quite a bit of gold. Almost 50,000 gold to 35,000. 7-1 in turrets right now. compLexity is taking this one with complete confidence in showing that they themselves are proving they deserve to be in the LCS.
Absolutely. 14,000 gold lead here. They have been in the LCS.
Indeed.
They had the misfortune of getting matched up against Cloud9.
The misfortune?
No, they didn't have misfortune in that one. But it was very unfortunate for them.
It was.
That they had to play against Cloud9 because Cloud9 is just taking the LCS by storm. Obviously, it was kind of compLexity's fault in the first place because they were the 8th seed in the spring split as well. But they're definitely trying to look strong. You know, they've made a few adjustments since then. Chuper's moved to AD carry. They've picked up Mega Zero, who had a great run on Marn.
Yeah.
during the spring split, and they're looking really strong here and really wanting to make that run.
And this is, again, what compLexity has been forcing COG to do, spread themselves out thin. The power of 2 is not strong enough anymore for COG, so we're seeing 3 and then a 2 split on the other side, and it's not something they can deal with.
Not at all. I mean, Chuper has done a great job on Vayne here, just flanking and doing his own thing, because probably could be the AD carry for the main squad.
Oh, locks it down. Valkyrin sitting right on top of that. He actually gets exploded by a tick and a shot. Probably on the outside, a double kill coming up for him. Can they continue this fight? The Requiem's going to come out. Mortis very close here to going down. Ace in the hole is blocked out. A triple kill coming in for Prowley. Could he get the quadra? But like we said, they're spread so thin, they're not going to be there for it.
Yeah, and Chuper's going to come over and say hi as well, because he wasn't even involved in that fight. 3 for 0. They have the Baron buff. They already have one inhibitor down. They're going for another.
Technically, Ziploc has to let somebody live here. So we'll see if he does it. 30 on the clock. It could be the amount of time that compLexity needs to put themselves in that promotion tournament. The first Nexus turret goes down. compLexity looking strong. Over 20,000 gold right now. It's not over, but it's 20,000 gold in the lead as the Nexus goes down. compLexity wins the Challenger Series Finals.
The hugs come out from Mega Zero and Lutta Mortis. Nice win for them here in front of the PAX crowd. It's got to feel good.